Okay. Um, I haven't watched any of these, so we're just gonna wing it and talk about whatever comes to mind.
Yeah, I think Zarya is just better. Like
Yeah,
for this
especially
map.
on this part because
Hey,
you can
Null,
spam me
And
do you
with
want to
Griffin
stuff.
go?
shit.
Okay, well, May is also a
Drink some
viable
tea,
choice for
watch
that
some
first choke.
VODs.
If you wall off the
I go
Reinhardt,
May.
whoever comes in first.
Yeah, go May.
What?
I like May better.
I like
That
May
that
also.
that all.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Yeah,
we
she's a
have
good
two.
tank.
I was
Our
talking about
world
instead of
is
Junkrat,
worth
but
fighting.
Go
Wait,
find
sorry.
Jake.
Okay, so it looks like we went with Reinhardt, Mercy, May, Junkrat, Zen, um, McCree. Nothing crazy here. Um, you don't see Junkrat too often. Currently in the meta, um, but it doesn't mean that it's bad, right? If we were only going by meta, we'd only see tanks right now. So but even then, Junkrat's still not a popular pick. Um, it has been in the past in this map, and it's usually when a team really wants to be aggressive with the spam battle. Uh, the Mays come in more favor because of, I mean, pretty much, envious and kind of selfless made May pretty popular. We were actually the first team to play against a May in a competitive match. However, it wasn't streamed. That's why I forget who Envious played after the next day with the May, but we were actually the first team to have Envious run the May on us to big success, and it was actually on. They ran it on offense in the street phase, and really kind of took us by surprise. They really coordinated ice walling and then Reinhardt charging into the ice wall. But anyway, when you're thinking Junkrat, think you're playing the Junkrat because you want to win the spam battle, and you really want to focus on holding a certain choke point. So it's not terrible.
Jake should keep May. Jake keep May.
Yeah,
Should I
yeah,
switch then, or?
yeah,
No.
yeah.
No,
We're good.
no.
We're good.
I mean, the May's still good because even if it is predictable, right? It's still good on this map. Some, if you want to call them cheese strats, I don't think May's a cheese strat, but when people whip out unique heroes, sometimes the strategy isn't as good if you know what's coming. But with May, if they know you're going to try to wall off this choke, right here, then you don't have to get that wall off for May to be effective, right? She's still a good hero even if you don't get this wall. So, let's talk about shield management. The first thing would be, why are we holding our shield here? The first thing you should be looking for, right, is seeing what heroes they have. Do they have heroes that can one-shot your teammates? Hanzo, Widow. There was another one I was thinking about. Hanzo, Widow, Roadhog, right? You don't want to get hooked. If they don't have any of these heroes, right, you can take spam damage, right? Like a Zarya is not going to one-shot any of your teammates. So you really don't have to have your shield up. You can take damage, right, and build the Mercy charge that way. While it might not be a big deal now, right, like you're at 1700, but if, let's say you take 500 damage right now, and then their Reinhardt appears and starts pushing you, right, now you're at a 500 shield disadvantage. Be confident that your healers are going to do their job, right? The first one being attacked, so no one else needs heals at the moment. Be cautious of that too. In some comps, you'll have healers, but their role on the team won't be designed to heal you, right? When Pharah Mercy is real popular in the meta, the Mercy does a lot of the healing, but a lot of the healing has to be dedicated to the Pharah. It's almost like you're not running a healer for yourself. It's one of the things people learn when they transition to a Pharah Mercy meta, is that the prioritize of heals is very towards the Pharah. Some teams feel like they have less heals when they run the Pharah Mercy because you have to be with each other all the time. So it's almost like you don't have a healer. You don't have a second healer. But
Genji on top of Jay.
Oh shit.
okay, they have a diva.
Watch our Reinhardt can heal.
Yep, ready.
Good luck. Oh, they're going up top. They're going up top.
Going up left.
That's a rough sleep. Let's just watch it again.
Genji on top of Jay.
So Genji jumps the Mei. Mei's looking for walls.
Oh shit.
You start regenning.
Watch our Reinhardt can heal.
Yep, ready.
Good luck. Oh, they're going
You peek again. Somehow this ice wall misses, and then you get slipped.
Going up left.
I'm asleep.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pro Genji.
Okay.
I have ult.
Zarya's in.
Slept again. The sleeps are whatever. Like that happens.
Far as up left.
far top left.
Discorder. I hit her once.
6, be careful.
He's rocket jumping all over the place.
Regen your shield now.
He's up now.
Oh, shit.
See, I feel like that was
Shield at half and dropping too bad.
okay. So they just have a diva and a Zarya. They don't have their own Reinhardt.
There's Zen someone's down.
At this stage, I'd almost expect you to have more charge. 30% is pretty low right now, which means you're probably missing too many fire strikes, or you're not spamming them efficiently enough. Understand that their team comp, right, doesn't have a Reinhardt, so your Earth Shatter's 10 times more important. This Zarya is way out of position.
Those 13 can go.
Zarya in the building. Zarya in the
Good call.
I mean, her.
Just because you see it doesn't necessarily mean you should be the one going for it. While you moved, right, you let her come from short, and then the Ana peeks out.
There's Zen someone's down.
13 can go.
Zarya in
I was just watching that fire strike.
I mean, her.
Genji ulted. Good swing. They're on the point. Swing at the diva. I would go for the charge on the diva next time. Recognize. Oh Jesus. Hold on. Figure out what happened here. Diva gets trapped. Recognize she gets trapped and go for the pin.
Zarya.
Sorry.
I feel like you tunnel vision on that diva a little bit. When you hear the Pharah ult, you should be looking to see if you can block some of that damage potentially.
I'm down. The healer is down too, be careful.
Okay, so I've had conversations about, is it worth to ult a Genji ulting, right? This situation is different, right? You saw two people, right? You saw the Genji and the Zarya, and you said ult both of those targets, and that's not a bad idea. However, recognize that recognize what people can react to, right? So when you do this situation right here, right, the mistake you should learn from it is recognize that Genjis can react to your Earth Shatter. So when you start saying hammer down, good Genjis with reaction time are going to hit shift and dodge it. Now, did he just hit shift because he was going to anyway? Maybe, maybe not. But Genji players can react to your hammer down and will at higher levels. And that goes for any class, you know. If I'm going to ult a Zarya, right? Zarya can react and hit, you know, hit her barrier on herself. And while you might not see it at the level you play currently, it's something you will see as you move up the ranks as far as what people can and can't react to.
I'm down. Okay, I'm about to go down. I'm like
Coming
so
back with
fucking
res.
low, it's not even a joke. Genji's to the left, just the right side spamming shirt. And I'm dead. Yep, I'm dead.
God damn.
Should I res? Should I res? I have 2 again.
You should charge there. Charge here. And,
Should I res? Should I res?
you know, get out of base faster.
Res. God.
That works too.
I'm
Either way.
trying to take out D.Va, and
I got
oh,
shield.
I'm so dead.
Yeah, nothing wrong with what you did. Too many people on your team died to capture that. One of the hardest things in this game to do is recognize when a fight is lost and when you're staggering. Nice. Okay.
Need help with Genji dashing through. Shield is down, watch out.
Good. Gotta put your shield up there. You know, there's. So, you regen shield, right? This is good. You know, why are we regenning shield here? Because we're at half already, and when a fight wants to go down, we want to have full shields up. So Genji goes in, you swing at him a couple times. At this stage, your shield should be back up, right? Like, remember our role here, right? You know, Genji goes in, you can swing at him, and then recognize that, oh, okay, the team has followed in with the Genji, and now I need to put my shield back up, right? As soon as you see these two people here, right, shield should be going back up, right? It's the reason why you dropped your shield in the first place, to regen it. So when the fight does happen, we can have 2,000 shield. You know, it might sound as simple as one too many swings, but you know, that's what happened. I don't feel like you guys are playing around your Mei well enough. You know, it seems like you guys are being engaged onto instead of engaging the opposing team, right? You're letting them define the pace of play.
We have nothing to do with this game.
Where should I go?
The Genji's giving you trouble. You're trying to figure out what to do against it. You know, you can never go wrong with a Winston. Good at chasing, etc. So this stage, right, you want to where the card is right now and where you are with your respawns, you have the ability to contest this second point. However, you have to do it as a team, right? So you should be waiting pretty much. Oh boy, let's back up so I can make my point. Well, you should be really regrouping right here with the rest of your team, so you as a team can go in as 6 people and contest that second point.
Genji's around there.
So right, you have no idea what's behind you. You don't know where your team is. You don't know where they are in respawns, right? Instead, you chase the Genji. Ideally, right, you're waiting as 6, and then you're walking to the point together to make a stand at the second.
Is that a
Let's hold him. Let's hold him.
Okay, you get 2.
I can't get to you, Reinhardt.
Yeah, you didn't need to Earth Shatter the Genji. I think you just tunneled vision. You didn't need to force a fight yet. I think that's the most important thing to say there. The other thing is, while the meta right now, tanks do a lot of damage, you shouldn't assume that you're the one that has to do the damage. And what I mean by that is, think of like a Zarya ult. When someone wants to Zarya ult, right? You want something to follow that Zarya up with. For example, like a black hole into a Pharah barrage, or a black hole into a Reaper ult. Black hole into Tracer bomb, right? The damage isn't necessarily coming from the Zarya, and that's one of the the issues a lot of Zarya players have, is that when they ult without realizing where their teammates are around them, and they rely on their own damage to get the follow-up. And that's kind of what happened here, right? You ulted without realizing where your teammates were, and then you were able to clean one player up, but not enough players, right? Like, you couldn't kill the Zarya. If your team was closer to you, right, that Zarya dies. So be in that mindset of thinking, okay, I need to set up my ult for my team to do the damage, not rely on me to do the damage.
Okay, fair enough. Nice.
Nice
What?
job cleaning up.
Go fall back. Why are we going that far if Halo's not there?
Hey, fall back.
Guys.
It's tough to recognize that ult was a mistake,
You're low as
because you guys do clean up.
Genji's Discord. Got the Diva discorded, she's down.
So again, we're pushing very far, and I would hope that your team is following with you, but I have a feeling they're not.
The Zarya's discorded.
Far as on top.
Just break the shield.
Come together, die together, die.
That's all
Diva's
good.
dead. I killed Diva.
Fuck you, Genji. Get wrecked.
Bad black hole.
Genji.
Watch the Genji. This
Let's see.
Just fuck him up. I landed a hit on him.
Right here.
Okay, so
Take the choke. We need
this is good. You don't want to give him space for free. I would be hitting, as a rule of thumb, I would be hitting tab more to see what ults are up. One of the easiest things you as a team can do is hit tab, think of what ults you have up, and how you want to approach the next fight, right? So, you might go into a fight thinking like, okay, I want to, we should use Black Hole and, I don't know, Pulse Bomb in this next fight. And then go into that mindset using those two abilities, right? One of the things at a high level, right, that sometimes determines a round is using too many alts, right? A team goes in, uses Black Hole, Zenyatta alt, Genji alt, Earth Shatter, and then they have nothing for the next fight, even though they hold them, right? And they end up, getting snowballed and winning the round, right? Alt management, as it were, right? At these points in the rounds where there's a downtime where you clean up, you should be thinking about how to approach the next fight, what alts you want to use. Now, fights get chaotic, things change, but having a mindset of how you want to approach the next fight can clear things up and avoid issues like using a Black Hole and an Earth Shatter right at the same time, right? That happens all the time in lower level scrims where people use two alts at the same time when they didn't need to.
Keep an eye on the fucking icon. Take the choke. This is a big fight.
So you have Earth Shatter. And for all things considered, this should be an easy Earth Shatter, right? They don't have any they don't have Reinhardt. They have a Zarya for shields, barriers, and that's it.
Are you like smoking the blunts that are in Leafy's nose?
It's too early. Like, if I start smoking, I'm gonna be bad.
Alright, be careful. Here we come.
Okay.
This one I'm ready. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Good job.
Oh my god.
That's unlucky.
Yep.
Um,
Nice res, nice res.
Cars on me.
so you're getting easily distracted by the first thing that comes into view. So, yeah, you're tunnel visioning on the first thing that appears on your screen, right? Like, I remember I was playing Hollywood this one time, and the opposing team was running a composition that was like Winston, Zarya, no Reinhardt, and they were attacking as. So they didn't have Reinhardt shield. Which means they were susceptible to Earth Shatter. And what happened is the Winston jumped our backline, and that's how they engaged the fight. And so instead of turning around, swinging at the Winston, I ran past the Winston that jumped us and Earth Shattered the rest of the team, right? So even though swinging at this diva might seem like a good thing, running past and realize that their backline is exposed is probably the better thing to think about. The other thing is, again, you let them engage onto you in this choke, right? You can set the pace of play with earlier on instead of continuously backing out.
This one I'm ready.
Like 3 people here. I guess it was pretty quick.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
This was a good block.
Oh my god. Yep, I got stopped.
You get rezzed.
Nice res, nice.
So, I mean, you get rezzed, and the 2 supports are in your line of sight as soon as you get rezzed.
Yep, I got stopped.
Alting these 2 supports here is probably the better play than what you did.
Nice res, nice res.
Cars on me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the mindset of this Earth Shatter was, Seems panicked. It looked like you hit it before the Zenyatta started ulting, all things considered, but
Taking away the Zenyatta.
that was good. I mean, making the best out of kind of a bad situation. One of the best things you can do when a Zenyatta's ulting is charge him out of the way, Same with like an Ana boosted Reinhardt, right? Just if you guys are out of position and the other Reinhardt's being Ana boosted at you, try to get the charge off and just move them away for the team, right? Even if you trade or you die, right? It's better than having that Ana boosted Reinhardt kill the rest of your team.
Genji. Yeah, Genji's really annoying. He just like finishing us off.
Hit tab more.
We got him. Cleared it. Cleaned up.
Think about what ults you have.
Yes, I do.
Not just yours, but your teammates.
No, Genji was always picking me off. Genji was my problem. Shit.
My ultimate is charging. The end draws near.
Genji's around the left side.
Oh, that is
She's looking at
You got a lot of people.
But
Genji's around the left side.
So I want to rewind because I want to. So this is good, right? You have your shield up. They have nothing to really contest you yet. Taking damage, you get Discord on you. Okay, when you drop your shield here to do this, think about when you want to regen, right? If you're about to hide against this corner, right, just drop your shield and keep it dropped. This is good. You line up a bunch of people. You would probably gain like, I don't know, another 25%. Instead of, at this point, right, you would be regenning or starting to regen shields instead of, putting your shield back up. Why do you need to defend this, right?
Eva's discorded. I think she has no ult. I don't know if she has any ult. I had no ult, but then it came in the last one and I died already.
I pressed Q.
Whatever, they got it. Hold the next one. Good hold.
Yeah, I think that was just a little poor shield management. And if you were committed to actually dropping it earlier,
Need Fard. Somebody deal with Fard.
I think you would have had better.
Oh,
Fars at the top.
You would have been able to hold your shield up versus the barrage, etc. You wouldn't have felt as panicked going in.
Fars behind again.
Yep, she's discorded. I'm trying to deal with her. I got her. But I'm dead.
Not good, not good. Yeah.
I got a full.
This is a map specific thing, right? But
It was good.
Like,
holding, once the enemy has this corner where the Genji is, it's extremely hard for the defense, right? Because they have the perch, they have the kind of large line of sight. You guys have nothing to hide behind to regen shield. So you always want to be at where the Genji is on defense, pretty much, holding that corner, or even further pushed up.
Fard behind. Need Fard. Somebody deal with Fard behind us. We have to stop them.
no, she.
So like you always want to be holding this corner, right? So that you can spam them, and then when your shield gets low, you can hide behind, this corner yourself. Instead, you guys give them a little too much space here. Maybe you guys were paranoid with the Pharah a little bit, but I think the rest of your team needs to push up with you and start spamming.
Genji's discorded.
Fars behind again.
Yep, she's discorded. I'm trying to deal with her. I got her. But I'm
Yeah.
I got a full.
Nothing you can do there.
Oh my god.
Oh, did you guys hold? I assume you guys would lose. Let's see.
I have res. I'm hiding.
I have ult.
This is good. You always, in match situations, when you're trying to stall out for time, the best here is to switch off Mei, Diva, Tracer. It's not that hard to figure out. You guys see at the top level all the time. Reinhardt is, I find that Reinhardt's a pretty good defender of last in the chaos. because of, you're kind of you just keep swinging on the cart, and you can get a lot of cleave damage off, just in the fact that it's a chaos. It's not just kind of a, we're holding a corner, they're holding a corner. It's kind of a 360-degree rotation fight a lot of the time. But I do like the May. Oof, rough. Yeah, use your cooldowns, etc. Okay, you had the Diva, you had the May, you had the Chaser, yeah. It's all good.
Make it one at a time if nothing else.
Unlucky. The idea was right.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Alright, at
They
least
ran
they
out
lost
of
one time.
Yeah, they
Okay. Alright, let's see how you guys want to approach on offense. Notice that you guys, you weren't really engaging onto the team ever as a defense. You kind of just let them engage onto you, and however the fight, broke down, it broke down. There was never a case of you guys like speed boosting in. You weren't running a Lucio, but there weren't many engages onto the other team. You might have had one when you, as the Reinhardt, kind of just ran up to them and started swinging, but even then, it looked like your team wasn't fully committed to that push, right? And it should be more consistent whether you guys want to engage as a defense. Okay, Zenyatta, Lucio, Roadhog, Anna. Let's take a look at that again. Okay, triple tank, triple support. Okay. Okay, yeah. Roadhog is really important here. Okay, as soon as that wall happened, right, you should be thinking that if you guys sped boosted in immediately, they're not going to have their own, they're not going to be able to wall off this choke, right? If I saw that happen, I would call for a speed boost and engage immediately into them.
Do you want to speed boost in? After this wall. After this wall, speed boosting everyone. Reaper
behind. Wow. I slept him.
You guys fed this Zarya high energy pretty quickly at the start of that fight. I'm not sure how it happened, but she's tearing you up. Wow. Yeah, I mean, nothing to say that, right? It was get frozen or charged. It's not. That's fine. Sloppy fight. Ooh. Okay. I think, okay, yeah, like I wanted to Earthshatter for you, but you need to do it without hesitation, or you need to think about if you actually needed to, right? You're looking, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 people, that looks juicy, instead you fire strike. As silly as it sounds, because you fire strike, now they're probably too far away. And that's what happens. But also think that you don't want to stack alts, right? Don't waste alts just for the sake of wasting alts, right? You have a Roadhog already alting. You have a Zarya that's high energy. They're already down people. Do you really need to use the Earth Shatter to clean up? Probably not. Even if you hit every single one of them, you probably could have killed the rest of the team without anything.
Shield up for
I
soldier.
slept him, I slept him.
Still no one on that Reaper.
Swing at the Zarya. Oh wow, no, you weren't getting heals. Never mind.
No life.
I can't, I went down some Reaper.
We got
That was a right play.
I used my sneak dog on the 76.
Don't be afraid to call for heals.
Yeah, but I can't call anything out because everybody's fucking talking non-stop.
Whatever.
When it comes to comms, when it comes to focus comms, right? Oh, kill the Reaper, kill the blah blah blah, kill the Zarya. The Zarya's on me. The best way I tell teams to make comms is don't make a focus comm unless okay, let me rephrase. One of the best things you can do to improve your focus comms is instead of saying kill the Reaper, kill the Roadhog, kill the Zarya, make your comms in the terms of Reaper can die. And what I mean by that is swing at the Reaper, realize the Reaper's at half HP, and then make that comm Reaper's at half HP, he can die. Too many times people will make comms that like kill the Genji, and then you'll go shoot the Genji, but the Genji's at full HP, and you're all changing targets just because someone made the comm, right? Try to make comms, focus comms, in terms of what can die, and you'll see things die faster. And then you'll be able to switch to better targets. Now, obviously, that has, that's all situational, right? You want to make comms, sometimes they're like, okay, there's a high energy Zarya, that's a high priority target, right? Those are usually at the beginning of fights, though, when the ability to recognize high priority targets and targets that can die. And when you do that, your comms can, your focus comms get better, and the comms in general become more clear. Man, that distance is huge. Okay, they're engaging onto you.
It's okay, we spawned here, they spawned far out. They're actually doing so badly.
We're not moving the payload, so how's that doing?
Yeah,
I'm doing badly.
yeah, that's the problem.
Okay. This is another situation of, did we use too many alts in this fight?
I need love, I need love, I need love up front.
We just used Black Hole. We just used Ana alt, Earth Shatter, key fighting alts, right? If you guys don't cap this, you'll be looking at this situation going, did we use too many alts and not complete enough objectives? Did you need to, if you were going to get Ana Alton, and you knew you were going to get Ana Alton, did you need to Earth Shatter them? No, that might come back to, if you guys had a play in mind you wanted to do and were able to discuss it. Okay, go into this next fight, and we'll use Black Hole and, Earth Shatter, or whatever, right? What if you guys Black Holed and you got Ana Alton and you saved the Earth Shatter and you just swung at the people in the Black Hole instead? You would have killed all three of them, right? So hit tab more to think about, to see what ults you have up, so you can kind of think about how you want to execute something instead of like, okay, all of a sudden there's a black hole. Because that's what that looked like, right? It was just a black hole was used, and now we have to do something with that black hole.
I'm trying to. Thank you. Thank you. Please.
That would have been a bad charge. Yeah, 'cause look at where you're charging, right? If you miss, you're halfway across the map, and you're away from your teammates.
Shield up. Reaper. Pick up Reaper.
I'm worried you're overextending here. When you should be playing the objective. Huh?
Need help?
Come back. Oh.
May, right side.
Should we regenning now?
Oh my god.
Okay, don't do that. That's bad.
Not even
So this happens. You got died on. That's fine. Regroup as 6 and then actually push out. Don't stagger. The worst thing you can do now is like die and then have to wait for respawn. I mean, the rest of your team died.
ulted them. Oh my god. We got 2 picks. Go.
Mm.
Use it to keep yourself alive. Hold Roadhog if you need to, Hannah.
It wasn't a terrible earth shatter, but you also have to think about what you really accomplished there. Did that earth shatter? I think we didn't expect it. Yeah, maybe. That earth shatter, you got 2 picks, but look at where the card is. Right? Your team was a little further behind you. Give your teammate help. Alright, at second point when that Zarya ulted and it kind of just happened, that's what that Earth Shatter was, right? You Earth Shattered, and the rest of your team is kind of caught off surprised by the fact you just Earth Shattered. Because they're like, oh, okay, now we got to follow up, right? And it shouldn't be one of our teammates used an ult, so now let's do something. It should be like, oh, we're engaging a fight knowing that you're going to ult, that we're going to black hole. When you do that, you have a plan. Everyone knows what they're going to do. It's less surprise and more focused engages. Man, you guys just like falling off the map, don't you? Okay, you need to regroup as 6. Think about how you want to engage. If teams like to push up on the left here, you can always push through the right, through the second. What's the word I wanted to use? Kind of the second point main, not hallway, streets. But even now, your team pushed up without you, right? And while that might not be nothing might have happened. One of these guys might get picked off, right? And then now you're not 6 people. You're staggering. It's not good. focus on re-engaging and regrouping as 6 people before you push. Look where the card is, right? It's pretty pushed back now, but it used to be up at this corner. You don't always have to engage through this main hallway. You can go through the left entrance, through the side halls too. Speed boost around a corner, catch people off guard. When you regroup like this, and you don't know where the enemy team is, you should be looking for potential flanking spots, right? This high ground up here. Is a Reaper playing? Is a Reaper playing in one of these side halls, right? One of the easiest ways to get back into a game is from a DPS hiding into, an alt. Right, like if a DPS is up top here, none of you guys know that. So how do you play around that? Start looking for DPS characters, where they are, right? If you see the Reaper, make that call, kind of stuff like that, right? In situations like this, I'm worried about flankers. You didn't check the halls to the left of you, right? If a Reaper peeks out, right, he's gonna kill your whole backline right now. Let's see what you do here. Let's see how much you get healed. Because right now, so far, we've seen the 2 supports and the Zarya player. We have no idea where the Reaper is. We have no idea where the other DPS is. Okay. Yeah, and what happened? The Pharah peeked out from somewhere. Let's watch this again.
Guys, wait for the team.
What I'm
Alright,
trying
let's
to
go.
say
Push.
is,
We're all here. We're all here.
Ready?
Go. Alright, let's go.
You're powered up. Get in there. Огонь по готовности.
I'm dead.
Farrah's got us.
Armored fit.
See, I don't know where the Pharah came from, but it definitely came from a flank, right? Man, do I call that like, man, I am so good.
Spawn.
Ready?
Go.
Where did this Pharah? Did she come from up here?
Let's go.
Or did she come from the right? Anyway, my point made, right? I called it like I sees it.
Get in there. Огонь по готовности.
I'm dead.
Farrah's got us.
Armored fit.
Yeah, okay.
Switch doors.
Okay.
And look, that Reaper went back up to that high window, right? Make that call. Let your team know that the Reaper is in a flanking spot now. Now, if the Reaper hasn't used ult, he's going to want to do the same thing. He's going to want to let you guys push in and then, drop an ult behind you guys. Okay, we know the Pharah's up top. See the Zarya. Where's the Reaper? I don't know. I don't see the support players.
Top right.
Reaper behind. Reaper behind.
And bam, Reaper was trying to flank again.
Watch it. I can't keep you away.
I had to kill his Zarya. I didn't want to give her all the charge for no
We need
reason.
to kill this
That
Pharah.
was good. Swing at the Zenyatta. Okay, alright. Ooh, no need to charge after the after he pops ult. If there were more people up, right, then the Zenyatta's not healing anyone, right? So that situation earlier about pushing the Zenyatta player or a boosted Reinhardt player away is great, but when he's not healing anyone, there's no need to charge. Maybe you push him off the point long enough to get a few more feet, but I don't think that's worth it. Good. Yeah, while that Reaper ult didn't look like it's gonna while that Reaper ult didn't look like it was gonna kill a bunch of people, using an ult to counter another ult is, just a good idea in general, right? Like, you get Ana boosted, or you start swinging. Then an enemy Roadhog ults and just pushes you away, that's a win in the Roadhog's book, right? Because your ult's kind of more important. Countering a Reaper ult with a Earthshatter it's a good mentality. It's perfectly fine. It just didn't work out.
Come on. We have to kill that bitch. We have something to do.
This fair is giving you a decent amount of trouble. How do you fix that? Well, if you're going to switch up anyone on your team, right, you could say, well, okay, we're having a hard time contesting our high ground, so maybe we need a Winston player instead of a Zarya player. But, honestly, I don't think she should be an issue if your Roadhog is hooking people.
Lost the player. They just lost the player. Push hard.
I always throw a fire strike in between these two doors as you turn around this corner. Nice. Good. Just keep swinging. Fair in the sky. Okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see when you play another Reinhardt. For the amount of times that you had the opportunity to Earthshatter, I don't think they were effective enough, right? And Earthshattering an enemy team only becomes harder when there's an opposing Reinhardt player. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so I assume we went Soldier 76 to maybe stop their Pharah. We have a defensive Genji, which it's not bad, but it's kind of weird. You almost want more consistent damage with your Reinhardt, right? Something that's going to play closer to you. Soldier 76 like to play inside the clock tower, usually, or up in windows, kind of not next to the Reinhardt. Genji players are all over the map. They're jumping in the air. They're not really playing with the Reinhardt. Right. The reason why triple tank works out pretty well is because the Reinhardt and the Roadhog play close together, and the Roadhog is a source of damage like a DPS player. But in this case, you don't really have someone that's sitting behind your shield consistently like a McCree, a Reaper, Roadhog. So that's one of my concerns. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they still run the no Reinhardt strat.
No, they said he was back.
Alright, 76, go top.
Okay. We're
We're getting No, that's not happening.
I mean, it's not, like, no one ever does it.
We have a minute 42. If anything, they should let us win. We pushed it back.
No, but that's what we have.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's too much.
Okay. You guys are pushed up pretty close. I like how you haven't committed to the shield too early.
Watch it.
He doesn't have a shield. I have mine.
Okay. They're running triple tank. They're running their own Reinhardt now. They don't have a lot of burst, but they have a lot of sustain. When you have a team that's running a lot of DPS players, right? McCree's Reapers, it's a lot more burst, right? And then what you're doing right now is very risky.
Behind you.
Okay, so your Zenyatta ulted. You charged in. It's a good charge. It looks like you got counter charged. Nothing so far.
Behind you, Zarya.
I got mercy. I got mercy.
See, this is concerning to me. 2 people went through house and no one calls it. That shouldn't really happen. There should be at least calm made there, or someone should be playing inside house.
I tried to take out nice res, nice res. There we go, there we go.
Nice. Yeah, worked out. Not a lot to say. Let's see what happens here. Okay, you're running a Pharah. In my mind, it's just me. Should never be running a Pharah without a Mercy. We haven't seen a lot of McCrees in this game, in this series rather, but good McCree players will just tear up Pharahs if they don't have their own healer. When you run Pharah and you're running Mercy, you're usually low on heals for the rest of your team, so keep that in mind. But so playing pretty aggressive.
No, Reinhardt, you're low.
Be low.
So you guys back up. Not exactly sure why. I feel like I'd be throwing up my shield earlier. And I feel like I don't see enough of your team doing damage. I don't see enough of your team using your shield to get closer to the Reinhardt to do damage, or closer to the Zarya to do damage. Maybe that's because you're dropping your shield to swing. At times you might not need to. Yeah, you charge right there because you know you're gonna die. Nothing to it. It's fine.
Top, hell, give me anything.
Like,
I was dead.
no, like when you charge in, I can't do that much. Wait, Reinhardt, come back up.
Rough. One thing that I always tell people is that when
I was dead.
this is the first engagement, right? You have 80%. What you should be thinking is that if I am close to ult, the opposing Reinhardt player should be close to ult. And you can kind of use that philosophy for any mirror matchup. Oh, if their Zenyatta is close to ult, if I am close to Zenyatta ult, they're probably close to Zenyatta ult. And if you keep that in mind, you might not get earth shattered here, right? You're at 90% ult. He's probably at 90% ult, or even closer. In this case, he has it, right? You should be thinking that he probably has earth shatter, or he's close to earth shatter, and I should be careful. And instead of swinging here, you might have your shield up and not get earth shattered. The other thing, if you don't run in and swing, throw a fire strike instead, then you have your own ult. And then you can play around the fact that you have ult. I don't feel like this, the Pharah pick works with this comp. But, you know, maybe you guys are just going to set up for Black Hole Barrage and that'll work.
I have my ult pushing.
Good pin.
He's in the back here with Winston, fighting off the point.
Good realization that you probably can't out DPS the Winston play. Out DPS the Winston while the Mercy's healing him.
Got him.
Didn't need to use the Lucio ult. Yeah. Not bad. Let's watch the Diva ult.
Oh, you don't know that.
No, but like remember at the last, like they held us for so damn long.
I think they would have tied. I think they
Yeah.
would have tied if they had the guy.
No, we would have won because we would have.
Yeah, no, on the last point,
We would have figured out a strategy to beat him.
That's true. My Mercy play was like. on
Oh
point,
no.
you know?
Oh no.
I was like, I thought that's what you needed.
That shows you the open area and how vulnerable a defending team is on this section. It's important to try to get in, you know, try to hold these other sections of the map. And you guys gave up too much space, or you died too you died out too hard when they took that last point and you weren't able to regroup. Yeah, okay, let's try what do you want to do? Lijiang, Hollywood, Route 66. Let's do Hollywood.
Same.
Alright, 3-3 on
Jackie,
Hollywood.
let's go.
3-3.
I don't want to like.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really, really strong. Do you want me to go Roadhog?
In 3-3, Roadhog is kind of staple because the DPS he adds that other tanks can't. Just reliable DPS. What up, Carver? Let's fast forward.
Number one healer.
She has like the lowest win rate. Anna has the lowest win rate.
Yeah, but that's just because people like. People don't have players.
Alright. Let's get that speed boost in and we're going in.
So back when Symmetra was really popular on this map, we would do things like push in, kill turrets, back out, regen shield, then push back in. You have to play it differently when turrets are available, and you have to make sure you're killing the turrets before committing to a push. The other thing you can do is push and kill the turrets, go back alley, and then decide if you want to continue to push back alley or come through main again. Even if you speed boost through the turrets, it slows you down too much to really get off a confident engage. Yeah. Play differently when there's a Symmetra. Because after you go down here, it's kind of it's over, right? It's lost. They have to wait for you to come back up, right? your shield is too important on this first stage to charge blindly into that.
Teleporter.
I died to reroll.
Mercy. Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Someone find the door.
I already killed it. I already killed
All right. Seems like they messed up. Not a lot to say. So, at higher levels of play, what you'll see is the majority of your own team pushing to their second spawn instead of sitting on the cap. So, basically, at higher levels of play, teams want to stagger spawns. And so what they'll do is they'll keep, one person, maybe the Anna, on the cart capping, and 5 of them will push into the, towards the elevator on the first roof, right, and into that area, and try to pick off as many people as they can. That way you stagger spawns, and you get a better positioning. You can take first roof. These are all things you should probably be thinking about if you cap, right? So, 5-man pushing, this area right here, and killing anyone who's spawning from this close spawn here, and then taking the second elevator as the cap's going on. So you're not doing a lot here, because there isn't an objective. There isn't an objective to accomplish by holding your shield up here. And by objective, I don't mean pushing the cart, but an objective of positioning, right? What are the things you want to do? Maybe high ground, push the cart, zone out, stuff like that. Standing here, you're not helping your own team get damage off, it seems like. They're kind of just standing on the cart. You could be getting on elevator and going up top if you had DPS players that support that, like a McCree, right? Because once you have top control, things get a lot easier. Don't assume you always have to be on the cart. Not to say you always have to play high ground, right? You can play on the cart and let them push down to you. But if you know they're not playing a mobile comp and they're not controlling high ground, you should be thinking about, should I go high ground myself and exploit that? Okay. I want to listen to the comms.
Anna ult me.
D.Va Discord.
Let's go. 6.
D.Va
Speed
Discord.
boosting, speed boosting. Go, fight.
Okay. I mean, I've mentioned this enough now to where I think we understand those were too many alts used for this fight. So I don't understand why we called for the Anna ult here. The only person on the low ground that you can kill is the Reinhardt, right? The Soldier 76 a little far back. He can sprint and run away. If you knew Zarya was gonna ult and you made that call for it, you would just black hold these 3 people, maybe the D.Va, and then got Anna ulted and start swinging, right? You don't need to ult him. There's nothing, he's not going anywhere. Right, you should be thinking this Mercy player now at this point, right? Mercy wants to go for a res. You saw her go big health pack.
Reaper's not going anywhere.
So now that you've used Black Hole, Earth Shatter, and a boost, and alt, you guys have what? Maybe Zen alt, maybe Winston alt. So, like once you're at alt disadvantage, you need to be thinking, we might not win this fight because of alts, right? At this level of play, right, there just might be a giant skill separation between how good you are and how good another team is, right? And you might just win a fight based on that, right? I'm being out aimed, stuff like that. But when you're facing teams that are of equal skill, mechanically, then it comes down to, how well you as a team play together coordinated, and how effectively you use your alts, right? So while you guys might use 4 alts and it beats a bad team, that's not going to be good enough when you guys get better. Right? As you get better, using 4 alts to accomplish half an objective really, is not gonna get you as far as it does here. Right? You guys used 4 alts to push the cart how far? Underneath the bridge. You guys don't even cap the point. Right? That's a big deal. If it's last point, right, and you use four alts to cap last, that's completely different. Or you use 4 alts to, maybe, if you're struggling, cap a first point, right? That's the objective completed. But even here, you guys used 4 alts and barely pushed the cart underneath the bridge. Because we can talk about it like that was bad Earth Shatter, or that was a bad Zarya ult. But in general, as a team, it's just bad ult usage, right? There's not enough comms going on of what ults you want to use for this fight, right? If you guys went into that fight thinking, how do we want to approach this fight? Oh, we want a Black Hole and an ult. And those are the only 2 ults you need to use in the fight to complete an objective, then you don't do things like stack Earth Shatter, or, stack support ults, right? That happens all the time. Fight goes on, team's panicking, you use Zenyatta ult, and then the Lucio drops the beat at the same time, right? If you guys communicate how you want to approach the fight, or I'm going to use Zenyatta ult first, right? If you make that calm goes on, then you don't stack ults like that, which means you have a better cycle of your ults, and you can do things like, okay, we're going to win this fight with 2 ults, then we're going to win the next fight with, another 2 ults. And then by the time you guys come to a 3rd fight or a 4th fight, you have your first 2 ults back up, right? And you can kind of produce this cycle of ults to continually win team fights. But at this point, you guys are behind in ults. And if they were a good team, they would have more ults than you to win this current fight. And not to say it doesn't happen at a high level, but at this point in the game, right, if I'm a good team and I'm facing another good team, I'm thinking, we're going to lose this fight. No, I'm going to lose this fight. And then think of how I can best waste as many of their ults as I can. Right, I want to bait out their ults at this point. I'm not going to win this fight. They have 6 ults up. Or whatever, right? Sometimes you need to approach a fight like that when you waste or you have bad ult management.
He saw us down.
I'm moving so fucking high in the air, I couldn't get down to the ground.
No,
Oh, this is working.
What a backup.
No, but remember the next fight that team has.
I'll try to find her.
I need something to get this demon killed.
Yeah, I took him down. Low,
you guys about to break, I can't stand it.
I'm gonna say
That was good. The Reinhardt should have been picked off though. Like that's a mistake on him. Did you make that call?
You're powered up. Get in there.
Zenyatta's up top of the bridge.
You should have been able to kill that Mercy. Let's see if you get this. This is gonna be. I think you'll be able to get the Soldier 76. You're aiming at the right direction. Yeah.
Oh my god, they just got fully res.
I think if you reacted a little quicker, right? Let's watch this again.
You're powered up. Get in there.
You get this kill. If you, I'm gonna say aim here, but one, you should be able to get that kill, with just better aim. Alting this is okay, kind of. So you need to alt. Are you worried about the Soldier 76 killing you when you have Ana alt on you? Not really. Using Yada is about to save you. When you're getting Ana alted, you don't really need to throw your Fire Strike. Your Fire Strike and your Swing do the same amount of damage, except your thing cleaves. Right? As soon as you see the Zenyatta ult, don't do another swing, just go for a charge. You're not gonna do damage. Your team's concerningly far back though. I'm not sure what's going on.
Watch your Reinhardt. Diva's on your ass. I'm trying to take her out. Soldier 76 discorded. I took out Soldier 76. I'm trying to give you some heals.
Diva's running.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told I have too low of a sensitivity playing Reinhardt. If you can't do a 180, so okay, when it comes to sensitivity with Reinhardt, the things you should be able to do is hold your shield up and then kind of do a 180 to check how far your team's behind you and then turn back without too much effort. Right, and by too much effort, I mean like, you know, not going over your mouse pad or whatever. Right, sensitivity is, you know, it's why can't I think of the word? You know, it's not a one thing fits all kind of thing, but it's definitely like, oh, you have to have a high sensitivity with Reinhardt, or you have to have low sensitivity with McCree, right? It's all how you feel, but you should be able to do 180s, right? Turn around, see your teams in, you know, too far back or close enough to start an engagement without too much effort, without, you know, straining your hand or whatever.
Behind the payload now. I'm the only one hitting Diva.
I got you.
Dead out of discord.
Good charge.
She's up on the bridge now.
No, we can't really do anything about it.
Alright.
We got
Unnecessary.
We just killed them all. Easy.
Yeah. Don't need to earth shatter that. You don't need to use that for a bunch of reasons, right? You're about to cap. They don't really have a chance to contest you because they're inside their own spawn. Instead, you could have had alt here and really try to complete a true objective of getting this cart pushed. The other thing is, whenever you cap a point, you should be thinking about the stuck positions, as I like to call them, right? the second spawns, if you would, right? If anyone had spawned at this period of time, right before you capped, they're going to spawn in the close position. Man, I wish I had an actual demo system. Right, kind of right there. Like, they're going to come out of this door and into the big health pack, right? So once again, you should be thinking, okay, if someone did spawn in the stuck location, my team needs to push up as 5 people and kill that and stagger deaths. So if we have to take a fight, we can take a fight 6v5. You know, someone definitely came out of this area and went into the big health pack and now sitting behind the Reinhardt shield, where if you were more coordinated, you can get that pick off. The Diva was behind you, yada yada, a little different, I get that, but you guys haven't done it any of the times, that's why I'm mentioning it. Don't be too concerned about this Diva. Yeah, you know, another case of you had used Earthshatter last fight, right? Think of it like this. You haven't blocked any Earthshatters, right? Any Earthshatters that the other Reinhardt has made to you, you and your team have been caught like it was a surprise. Like, I didn't know that Earthshatter was coming, right? It's not an easy thing to do, but good Reinhardt players will have, you know, they will know an estimate of what the other Reinhardt has for Earthshatter. You gotta have a clock in your head, right? You gotta know what the other, you know, how close the other Reinhardt is to Earthshatter, right? And you play differently, you know, because of that, right? And then once you get to that point of, okay, I just used Earthshatter, the other Reinhardt probably has Earthshatter, then you can do stuff like faking out the other Reinhardt, right? Like, if you go into that fight right here, knowing that this guy has Earthshatter, right? You get Ana boosted. What's this Reinhardt thinking right now? I'm scared. I'm gonna Earthshatter, and then you don't swing, and you can just walk at this guy, right? And you don't swing because it's animation, right? And if you're swinging, you can't get your shield up as fast, but you can react to a Reinhardt Earthshattering. Hear the hammer, throw your shield up, and instead of swinging, you block all this, then you go kill him. Gotta have a clock in your head. Unnecessary charge. Let's watch this again. Just hit a fire strike or let your team kill him, right? Instead, this Diva ult comes in and could have, you know, your shield's more important. I mean, forget this Reinhardt. Forget chasing him, right? He's way out of position with 1 health. Just push the fucking cart. Leave him to die. Now it's a 5v6 and he has 0 health behind you guys. Doesn't have ult. Completely useless to his team. Just charged away. He doesn't have charge. Should have had your shield up. It'll be interesting to see where you ult here. I'd like to see you get 3 at least, but oh, that was weird. Let's watch that again. That was weird.
Break this fucking wall down. Ulting.
That was some weird animation. Look, there's Zenyatta saving them, right? So after your first swing, you know there's Zenyatta ulting. Go for a charge while they're still stunned. Get at least 1 pick. and then, see what you can do.
Nope, nope.
Like killing the Reaper in this fight could be huge.
I'm down.
And,
I'm dead.
Fall back, fall back, fall
the
back,
last
fall
guy.
back.
Yep,
I
I'm
just
down.
I mean, you only ulted 2 people here, and you got to ask yourself if that was really worth it.
See a good opportunity to ult there.
Yeah,
fine.
I could ult this because I ulted well.
In general, not hitting tab enough. You kind of, you as your team just went in there and ulted, but
Yeah, Zen and Mei.
yeah. The one thing you guys can learn is just thinking about how you want to approach a fight. Right. Every time you guys ult, it's a surprise to you, and it shouldn't be. Okay. Better Mercies will have ult by then, and they'll res all those people you just killed. I think if you wait, I think every time you have ult, you feel pressured to use it, and if you just hold on to your ult a little longer, better opportunities will present themselves to you. Just because you have ult doesn't mean you have to use it, and when you don't have to use it, better opportunities as far as 3 players lining up, 4 players lining up will present themselves to you, right? Play just a little more passively instead of engaging every time with ult.
Got the man.
I'm down. Frozen.
Yeah, roll.
Reinhardt almost dead.
I can't.
The backup's gonna get those 5-man
Get
reses.
out if you can.
I tried.
We're,
I tried to get some ult on.
we're doing fun. We're breaking it up and we're getting it pushed.
Right? Okay, you guys just died. You're regrouping. You should be hitting tab to see what ults you have. Don't be afraid to hit Z like this guy is to figure out how close you guys are with ult.
I'm getting pushed out.
They talk about my 1-tips.
Okay, I'm down.
Fall back, fall back, fall back.
Fall back. Look, I'm gonna go speed boost Reinhardt.
We got 2 of them down. Yeah, we need to get back.
I'm gonna speed boost Reinhardt and Hannah. We're gonna come back and I'm gonna sound barrier in.
I almost have
I have
Reinhardt.
ult. I have ult. I have ult now. Okay.
Go, 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 go.
Get in there.
Ooh.
How was,
Nice, nice, nice
how
save,
was that
nice
sound
save.
barrier?
Gotta have a clock in your head.
Oh my god, you can't be
Fuck this man.
yeah,
I got ult.
nice, nice, nice.
Keep it behind, keep it behind.
Right? You gotta ask yourself though, if you were that close to Zarya ult, why not just wait for the Zarya ult and then get Ana boosted and then swing?
I have a pick on 2 of them right now. Despite the res being
Oh my god, I got it back. That shield this time. Thanks to speed boost.
I think he has a DP.
There's Zen's low. There's Zen's low.
dead.
Oh my god, how these rolls are this?
But Zen's on the left side.
I have ult.
Go for the counter charge there. He whiffed a charge. Turn around and charge him.
Keep it behind again.
People left side.
Keep it
Go,
low.
go, 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 go.
The edge lord is discorded. Reinhardt discorded. Oh my god, he's gonna get me.
Wait a minute. Holy shit. I was on the other friend with it.
Swing for the fences. Yeah.
Give me that.
hit tab as a team, figure out when you want to ult, how you want to engage the fight. Sometimes engaging the fight is you want to engage with Reinhardt with Ana boost. But when you have these other alts up, the amount of times I've seen a Zarya black hole that happens after Ana ult, it's too many, right? It means you guys aren't using your ults correctly. The second thing, you're panicking as soon as you get your ult, and you feel pressured to use that ult to accomplish, immediate damage, and because of that, you're getting kind of shitty earth shatters instead of, waiting for a better opportunity to happen. Because you're forcing the issue. You watch players like Winghaven, and they'll just hold on to their ult, right? And they'll wait for opportunities to just present themselves. Let the other team make mistakes, and then just get better earth shatters.
Round to stick out. Sometimes it makes it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. Because like
Okay, Fair Mercy,
Oh yeah, that's true.
good. You should always do that. You can always try to spam the door at the start of the match too.
Was I just scored the Reinhardt to go
Oh,
right
they're
back,
going.
to go right
They're
back.
going.
I think that
Yeah, look, you can one of the things you can do, like, you can punish them for that, right? But you need to be aggressive when you do it, right? That they just walked in for, I don't want to say free, but you spam their shield down. You have the advantage because your shield's up. You can just walk at them with shield and watch them die pretty much, except, you guys aren't ready to commit, or maybe, it's easier when you have Lucio, for sure, right? Makes it easier to coordinate, but you can run into them when that shield goes down and punish them for that, especially with this huge advantage. Now that they're back alley, you should be calling it and thinking about switching to the dumpster side. Why am I playing over here if they're not going to come from over here anymore?
Watching their ult.
And he's already over here.
Way back.
That Reaper's super low.
I am really low.
I'm gonna flank them from behind.
The Reinhardt's escorted.
This is a good area to be in.
Sorry.
Keep your shield up. That's a high energy Zarya. Good.
She's got full charge. That bitch hurts.
That shield.
I got all.
Ah,
Shield's
I'm
down.
down. I got all three.
Oh my god.
Die together, die together.
Um,
Oh, give me that.
I don't know. Let's watch it again.
She's got full charge. That bitch hurts.
You guys have been holding the stairs, right? And their shield goes down.
That shield.
I got all.
So shield goes down.
Ah, I'm down. I got all three.
I feel like you guys are, as a team, you're unsure when you're engaging and when you're disengaging. And maybe that needs to be more vocal from whoever, whether it's you, whether it's someone else on your team that's main calling, but you guys are kind of half-assing it.
Oh my god.
Die together, die together.
the best thing you can do there is try to countercharge him. That's about it.
Oh, denied.
I mean, the other thing would be, you know, just try to back out, right? If you don't get stuck on this little spotlight here and you back up towards these steps, how's he gonna hurt you, right? He's gonna try to. The only way for if you don't get caught here, right, and you walk back up the stairs, the only way for the Reinhardt to get up there, right, is through the stairs. Which means if you back up on the stairs, right, the only way for him to come up the stairs, and you can just charge him off.
Denied.
Guys getting so much fucking killing,
I
man.
can't find a way out.
Yeah,
Getting
I
so much
probably should have saved that. But then again, if I didn't, then we probably would have died anyway.
Okay, look, you're down 4 people, 5 people. They're all on the point. None of them died. You can't hold it. You can't hold it. Set up for second.
You guys, if you can stall him for long enough, I have res my
No, don't use it.
Don't res.
Recognize that you can't hold that earlier on and set up on the roof instead. Realize that even pro teams don't hold that first point hardly ever anymore, right? There were stages of the game where it was possible, but in my mind, the best thing you can do is hold that point as long as you can, and when you realize you're about to lose, don't, die out efficiently and have an alt majority to hold second, right? This second stage is easier to hold because it's longer. It's kind of a 2-phase part, like there's the choke point when you first engage at the start, and then there's like past the bridge. Saving your ults to kind of prevent a kind of a death ball push on this second point is more important. I mean, I don't know. You look at that, right? You saw 4 people dead. There was a Mei on there by herself stalling. You have to realize that you can't recapture that point.
Okay, I'm changing.
When I die, I'll probably kill Zarya.
Now you should be thinking, let's get on the roof and hold the roof. Should go in second elevator to do that. This is... Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're going into the first elevator, it's risky because a lot of teams will just push this area as soon as they cap.
I get that HP back.
Who are your DPS players supporting you right now? There's no one here. Get on the roof with the rest of your team and have your team be able to spam them from behind your shield up top. Now you're just playing spread out. That's great. That's perfect. Good res.
Yeah, they're just wiping us.
Now, I don't know. I'd have to watch again to see what ults were used, right? But it's clear from that fight that they had the ult majority, right? They had Earth Shatter. You guys didn't have Earth Shatter because you wasted it trying to defend the point. Maybe your Mei used her ult to defend the point by herself. I'd have to double check. But, you guys are at a clear ult disadvantage, and right, it just showed there. Some fights you just can't win because you don't have any ults.
We need a Zarya.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Zarya from Alt's combo with fucking Sig with POP.
should be playing around your Roadhog player. Right? Your Roadhog should be standing behind your shield so he can get off damage without worrying.
He has Discord on, by the
Hold
way,
on.
so he's
Break your
really-
shield. I have ult.
Yeah,
Ulting.
he's down.
Rough.
Zarya's discorded. We got him.
Reaper's flanking from behind. Careful.
Let's watch it one more time. So you just got ult. You feel the need to use the ult.
He has Discord on, by the way,
Hold on.
so he's
Break your
really-
shield. I have ult.
Yeah,
Ulting.
And then he's already dead by that time. Right? So again, you didn't need to ult there. But right, it's a bad ult, but the more important thing is that you feel pressured to use ult as soon as you get it. And if you just play a little more passively, wait for better opportunities to present themselves, they'll come.
Zarya's discorded. We got him.
Reaper's flanking from behind. Careful.
I hear the
Fucking Lucio in the back, guys.
Reaper behind. Behind us. Reaper.
Got him discorded. Nice. I have ult.
Stream, please. No, it's not me. It's the VOD recording, I swear.
I just heard.
I found him again.
Dylan.
Get him. Get him.
Oh, no, they're coming. Ignore him, ignore him.
Yeah, he got away.
This isn't me, right? This is the VOD.
Doesn't matter. I mean. Oh, Reinhardt's discorded.
Drop the
Good
beat.
job.
Fall back.
Good
Fall
job.
back if you
I
can.
have ult, I have ult, I have ult.
Get it back.
I hope this stops soon. Okay, it looks like it recovered.
I'm
No,
gonna
dude,
change.
Roadhog, you're too in. You're in too deep.
Got you shielded, Roadhog.
When think about high ground more. Think about that. You guys just
Dude, holy shit, I'm
kind of wiped them,
Get it back. Get out.
and at this stage of the map, when you guys wipe a team or you guys win a fight, you should be thinking, okay, let's recontrol high ground, right? Make them work for every inch.
Get out.
Yep. Well, at least I wasted their
That Roadhog is too far up by himself.
Got you shielded.
That might have worked if he was behind your shield, but he's not playing around your shield enough, or you're not playing with him enough.
Reinhardt discorded. Oh my god, no, stay alive.
Good, good. Look, I think that's the right play, right? Earth shatter him and just push him away. He is reviewing random viewers' VODs. What was I gonna say? It's the right play, but at the same time, you have to ask yourself,
Discorded.
positioning wise, you know, does this issue even happen if you guys are playing high ground? Right? If you're on top with the shield spamming, do you ever run into this issue? Could you have just charged him? Maybe. You know, he has no support here. And your Zen certainly didn't need to ult himself, right? Again, you guys waste too many ults trying to accomplish the same task. In this case, it's not offensive ults. You're not using Black Hole or Shatter and ult to kill the enemy team. You're using two ults to do a defensive task where you only needed one.
Oh my god, no, stay alive, stay alive.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I can't move. Shield's breaking.
Whatever, that was a decent game. They popped a lot of points. They came
use one or the other, not both. Right? That's the key point there. You use Earth Shatter to prevent the other Reinhardt, or use Zen ult. But the fact you use both, you lost that fight. Right? If you use Earth Shatter, do that whole play, then back up, and then have Zen ult 10 seconds later, then you guys have a better chance of winning that fight. Instead, you use both at the same time. You stack defensive, I'm going to say defensive ults, but using ults for a defensive purpose, and, you know, it doesn't work out, because then you're at an ult disadvantage.
We can still hold this. We can still hold this. Just make sure we regroup first.
Yeah, no point going in solo.
Jay, I'm like, what is it?
Oh no, they got
Oh,
it's fine.
kill the Reaper,
Hold
kill
the last
so
one.
far.
Oh, shit. Oh, back up. Man, you don't gotta donate to me, man. You're a sub. Okay. Before I get carried away, let me check what actually happened here.
You're gonna charge me now. Fuck.
Oh, I'm low. I'm really low.
Get behind me, go.
I'm
My
trying to go
field's
back.
down.
It's fine. It's fine. Retreat.
Oh,
Oh
fuck.
my
God
God.
damn it.
Above us.
I have
Yeah,
Got him. I need low.
not a lot to say here.
Oh, I'm low. I'm really low.
Get behind me, go.
I'm
My
trying to go
field's
back.
down.
You need to be communicating that your shield's going down before it goes down. You know, call out you're at 500. Call out you're at half. You know, it doesn't help you when the shield's already down and you call it's down, right? Your teammates know it's down. They heard it break. They don't see it anymore.
It's fine. It's fine. Retreat.
Yeah. Know your limits. That's all that was.
Oh, fuck.
God.
God damn it.
Above us.
I have ult.
2% window earmarked with Papa emotes. I'm probably not streaming any live gameplay today. Probably gonna finish this one. Maybe look at one on Nubani and then call it a night. Let me show you. Hold on, let me get my Discord up real quick. Yeah. That's not it. I want to copy this. Okay. Right. If you're my sub, you want to get a VOD review, go to my Discord and you can record and then send me it. I'll review it. No problem. Okay. Alright. Back to finishing this one though.
Bear, watch it.
Fair, I can't heal you.
Yeah,
I
coming
can't
outside.
either.
When I get there, I will have ult, but I'm not there yet.
Behind, careful.
Okay, is everyone?
I'm here. I have ult.
Get in there, get aggressive. Fuck him up. Oh my god.
I got killed from behind.
Oh my god. Nice res.
Good res.
Res because we behind.
Whatever, that's fine. We know.
Zarya left.
Ah, shit, Zarya. She's like really high.
Not a lot to say there. I'm glad you didn't ult when you didn't need to.
Mine.
Careful, careful, careful. You're low.
Right
Too.
down.
Yeah, exactly. She has the ult.
Yep, yep, I know. I see the purple. Just trying to. Shield going down to let it
Back to
recharge.
me. I'm on the payload. Oh, never mind. You're good.
Where's that recurve?
Behind us, probably.
Oh no, I don't see him.
Trying to keep an eye out.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Oh,
Okay.
Inside. On the right, next to Null.
Break that shield and have ult.
Okay, alright. So, here's what I don't like. Remember how I talked about that Winston play where, you know, Winston jumped over me and then I knew the enemy didn't have the Reinhardt, so I know their back line would be exposed. That's exactly what this play is, right? What's stopping
Break
you?
that shield.
The shield. You understand this. You make the calm for it. Break the shield, I have ult.
Don't have ult.
He drops ult. If you didn't fire strike, right? You could have reaction earth shattered that. Right? You're at a distance where
Probably.
if he drops shields
no, I don't see him.
at all,
Trying to
you
keep
can earth shatter him.
Ouch.
Oh,
Inside.
Right?
On the right, next to
Right now, if he drops shield at
Break
all,
that shield and have ult.
you can earth shatter him and just win the fight. You fire strike him because he fire strikes. Because you fire strike, he charges you. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of low level. Whatever. But if you saw him charge you like that, you could have reaction earth shattered and, you know, earth shattered him and probably a couple people behind him. Now, even though he charges, right, and he whiffs, he doesn't pin you. I would be looking forward. I would be looking forward to try to ult these three people. And maybe the Reaper, right? Forget about the Reinhardt that charged. Let your teammates worry about that. Potentially, right? You know, maybe you turn around and just get the quick pin yourself. But this is one thing, tactic that I would be thinking about. If you need to win a fight off your Earth Shatter, just, you know, let them charge past you and go for the, try to ult the important people yourself.
hybrid. I'm hiding.
Well, I'm on my way back.
Shield up.
I need your shield.
I can't do anything.
Oh, you guys are still alive. You guys are still alive. Or most of you, anyways.
Yeah,
I
but
have
most
ult.
of us are low as fuck on health.
Okay.
On my way back.
Oh, it's already done.
You're dead.
30 seconds.
Nice, guys.
Okay.
I have ult. I have ult.
Swinging.
Get that
Sorry,
Lucius
this
up.
You knew Zarya did, like, bad. Zarya needs to
Lucius
fucking
up.
die.
Lucius up.
Oh my god.
He boosted Lucius.
Yeah, still watch though.
On a sleep. And dead.
In situations like this, where
You knew Zarya did, like, bad.
like
Zarya needs to fucking
there's nothing that's gonna burst down your shield,
Lucius up.
right?
Oh my god.
He boosted Lucius.
Yeah, still watch though.
If you just walk at them with shield up, they can't kill anything,
on a sleep. And dead.
and instead you die. But if you just have your shield up and walk at them, what are they gonna do? Them Kree can't burst you down. The Zarya can't burst you down, right? I feel like you swing a little too much and don't have your shield up enough. You know, you try to do more damage than you know, prevent damage.
Zarya's still not dead. Please kill Zarya. Thank you.
Dead.
Now Reinhardt. He's in the, behind us.
I'm stunned.
I got you.
Thank you, thank you.
Good shit.
Good shit. Thank you.
Nice.
All right, okay. What we got?
Cool. Yeah, I hit him like 2 times, but I
Okay. All right. I'm watching some casual Mercy play too. They can use your tips. Okay. Let's watch some Koth. Let's watch some Zarya play.
Where the hell back they have to
Yeah, at okay. The reason why Winston Zarya is so strong is because you can engage with Winston and choke points, Zarya barrier him, and then gain your charge really quickly. Now, this team is bad because they pretty much give you the point for free.
Fuck. Group up. I wasn't getting healed.
No.
But you also have to think, you know, when you need to actually push the issue and keep getting kills.
Oh shit, shit, shit.
Running back in.
Let's see what you do here. Right, the most important thing about Zarya is getting your charge up as quickly as you can. So, like, you know, every barrier is important. So, you know, why'd you barrier there? I don't know. There's no point to. Right? You need to get charge up as quickly as you can, right? And anytime you waste a barrier, like that, it's, you're pretty much hurting yourself.
I need love. Oh god.
Yeah, you have right. You have no charge. Your barriers have been kind of shit, and that Ana boost was weak. This fight's a shit show.
Wow. Jeez. Creed just
I didn't
fucked
even
us.
hear behind me.
Yeah, we got fucked.
Alright, I'm about
It's not always easy
Only 57. I
getting charge up as Zarya, so you have to think about, you know, how to get charge up effectively. Kind of baiting your teammates in a way. And I say that in terms of like having your second tank try to complete an objective, you know, jump in, peek a corner, let the spam come at him and then bubble him to get the most efficient charge. Or you know, okay, they have an enemy Reinhardt, so how do you want to play that? You want to, you know, you want to bait out a fire strike and then self barrier and get 50 charge off that. Exploiting bad Reinhardt players with your own barrier is the easiest way to get charge up in this game by far.
Is that instead of Ana as an assassin?
Yeah, that might work. Yeah, let's change that.
Yeah.
After you all, I'll post you all.
I just used
He just turned.
So you should be barriering the Winston right there to get as most charge as you can, right? He's gonna walk at the enemy. They can't shoot around him pretty much. They're gonna have to shoot your barrier if you do it correctly. Instead you know, barrier the Reaper, but he's not in the front line, right? You need to be barriering the people who are in the front line. See, as soon as you bubbled the Winston, look how much charge you gained, right? And it's as simple as that. Okay. Alright, elephant in the room, your aim's kind of shit. Alright. We'll move beyond that, okay? You know, it's been said, but we can focus on other parts of playing Zarya that are more important, right? You know, it's easy enough to say, okay, your mechanics here are bad. You're not shooting your targets, you're not tracking, right? But, you know, there are other things that people don't do, like your cooldowns, right? Where all your barriers are on point, we're using them correctly. You know, are you engaging correctly? These are the things that anyone can focus on and improve their gameplay. Like, you know, that was a bad black hole. But you should be thinking about when black hole is the best, right? And how you want to approach the use of black holes, right? Like I said before, you almost never want to use a black hole by yourself. You always want to think of comboing it with someone. Even though you're a hybrid tank playing Zarya and you have the potential to do a lot of damage with high energy, you shouldn't be thinking that I'm going to black hole 4 people and kill 4 people myself. You need to be in the mindset of I need a DPS player doing damage for my ult, right? You're gonna do the Earth Shatter and your team's gonna follow up. You're gonna do the black hole and your team's gonna follow up, right? If you think too much about the individual, you're not gonna accomplish much, right? At lower levels of play, the best thing you can do is think about, all right, this next fight, we're going to Zarya ult and we're going to Reaper ult on top of them, right? And we're going to win the fight like that. And that's how we're going to win. Using ults as soon as you have them by yourself is detrimental to helping you get better. So the Reaper ults right here, right? And the best time, if you used your cooldowns probably better, would be to, you know, bubble him here. Yeah, you saw the Zarya low, you didn't need to use black hole. You didn't even need to use anything, just shoot her next time. Okay, good. As Zarya, you know, you're very important to killing the Genji, right? You need to know when you're playing a hero that is important to killing an enemy Genji. You know, if you're playing Winston, if you're playing Zarya, right? Heroes that can shoot through his reflect rather. So, one, you didn't need to use black hole that fight, right? So if you had black hole now, you could plan an engagement around using it as they all push in as 6 people, right? And when you do that, you make your lives a lot easier. This is good, but you need to be careful who's around that corner, how far your team's back.
I have full charge. Like, I do way more damage than anything they can do right now.
Yeah, just stay alive.
Yep, I know.
Good, good. If you bubbled that, that would have been better. One thing you can do with McCree players is you can whatchamacallit? You can bait out their flash bangs and kind of use your barrier to block them, right? McCree players will panic and they'll flash you when you're high energy, right? But if you can get a good read on that, you can throw up a preemptive barrier and prevent the flash from going off.
Oh, Winston, I tried to shield you. I'm so sorry.
Okay, you got it off.
I need love. I need love. Oh my god. Nice. Killed him.
Bad or shattered by the enemy team.
Discord, he's discorded.
Get. Oh,
Nice.
God damn it. I'm sorry, Zen.
Whatever, it's fine. We got this, we got this.
Okay.
Wow, sorry.
Right, so you're looking. Okay, I need to get my charger up again. Don't shoot the enemy Zarya shield.
Yeah,
Look, you're using your barriers without thinking about using your barriers, right? Sometimes you okay. Think of it this way, right? When this is a lesson that a lot of people learned back in the beta. So initially when Zarya came out, right, she had like a 4-second barrier, and you could use those barriers to almost like a Reinhardt shield to move through choke points because it was so long, right? Yeah, 4 seconds is a very long time, and you could just walk through a choke point and almost expect to take spam damage no matter what. Then they changed the barrier time to 2 seconds, right, for both, how long it would last on attack, on using it on a teammate and yourself, right? But when that happened, you kind of made a change from using your Zarya barriers to engage through choke points to kind of bait your teammates to taking damage. And what I mean by that is you don't really want to use your barrier until you see them taking damage, right? Until you see the focus call, until you see them being focused. Teams won't, at higher levels, won't just randomly spam barriers anymore, right? You have to use them in a way to bait the other team from, shooting them, right? So, like, let's say you're walking back into a fight, right? You should be looking at all the little yellow triangles, right? And thinking, okay, those are the people taking the damage, right? Which means someone's already shooting at them, and possibly someone's making a comm to go shoot that player. So maybe that's the person I need to barrier as soon as I peek this corner. Think of it like, you have a Pharah on your team. The Pharah just ults, right? People are going to look up and try to shoot that Pharah, which means, right, that person's kind of being baited to get shot at, right? That's the person you want to barrier, right? Well, that's an extreme situation. You want to kind of think about how you use barriers in that way to bait your team. The days of just using barrier for the sake of using barrier on a teammate, that doesn't work anymore, especially at higher levels when you get to that point.
No, we're not. Stop saying that. Just fight. Like, damn.
I don't have ults. Just retake.
Overtime.
Fall back.
Yep, we got.
Hold on. 83%. I almost have it. Going to the right side. Everybody to the right.
Okay. Making the engage go right. That was okay. Yeah, I mean that's the idea, right? You want to barrier your Winston. Good reaction.
Reinhardt. Reinhardt's dead. Ulting. Get Mercy. The Mercy up top.
Yep.
Mercy's dead.
You also have to think about what was up top. Okay, no, this is it's pretty good. Illuminati status. The reason why this fight seems so sloppy is the focus calls are really bad.
Like understand is really low. Reinhardt just discorded.
Mercy's hanging out behind that corner. Get that Mercy.
Think about think about who is actually important in that fight and who's killable and who's not killable, right? The Mercy healing the Zarya isn't killable.
Genji's dead.
I mean, the Zarya being healed by the Mercy isn't killable, right?
Oh, we got it. Come on. Nice. Oh my god, good hold.
Alright, okay.
Reaching the promised land.
I know, right? And then I gotta get my happy ass to climb up there, and that's like another 200 points for me. Oh, it does? Yeah.
Disaster's a legend.
They're almost going for left side, left side, left side.
Yeah, watch it.
Okay.
I got the Reinhardt discorded. Trying to stay alive, but
Okay. So that's exactly what I mean about McCree's and how you can bait out their stun grenades.
They're almost going for left side, left side, left side.
yeah, watch it.
You turn the corner. You're in the face of McCree. You can see the panic on his face. It's clear. Just self-barrier and run at him, right? If he doesn't throw a stun, there's a good chance he's going to try to shoot you anyway. And then bam.
We just gotta pick. Yeah, we just gotta pick.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Didn't need a self-barrier then. And while I might focus a lot on your barrier usage, it's because, you know, it's a core part of Zarya's play, right? And you're pretty low on your charge at the moment.
Out the Mercy for Lucio.
Yeah.
Let's not go through side.
Yeah, go for front. I hold.
So this is a choke where you used it correctly, but I want to like make a point of you doing something, right? They're spamming this choke, right? And you know you're spamming this choke. Like you can see all the spam coming through here. So walking in with shield is like, it's a good thing to do, right? And you can think of any choke really. As soon as your barrier goes down though, right, you need to rethink of what you're trying to accomplish. You know, your barrier is down, you're not getting more charge, you're taking more damage than you're actually, you know, handing out yourself, right? And you don't want to drop health just because you can. You're also feeding their Genji, etc. That's a good bubble.
I got almost full charge.
Okay, both Zenyatta ults went down. They're Genji ulted. You're at an ult disadvantage because they won the first fight, so that kind of just happened. Not a lot you can do about that.
Oh my god.
Not a lot to say. As far as the Winston stuff, you know, it's hard to kind of, it's hard to see what you're doing all the time, you know, without an actual demo system.
Need to not go through side.
We need to kill them and then go inside. Alright, I have
I think a lot of people see their abilities off cooldown and then they think they have to use it instead of using it when they actually should.
I just
They use it for the sake of using it. Right? So I should be looking at that Winston jumping in and go, I should be bubbling that person.
Winston, watch out, okay? This
Must
might
be
be
boosted and hold this point.
Okay. Look at what they just did there, right? What'd they do? They Zarya ulted, and then they followed up with a Tracer Bomb, right? Now, let's see how you guys do that, right?
I have no
Like, why did we just go in?
I'm gonna go off on a whim and say that you use Black Hole without comboing it with anything else, right? But that's how you should be approaching these alts, you know? Approach them in the sense that using them in combinations with your team. What I'm thinking right now is I'm going to wait for this Reinhardt to throw a Fire Strike, and I'm going to get 50 charge off it. Because you already proved that he wants to Fire Strike off here, right? Now, if you have saved your bubble, you could have eaten this Fire Strike right here and had 100 charge. Instead, you're at half. So. Okay. Let's watch that again.
Like, getting my charge up. Go. Ulting.
Yeah.
Reinhardt
Yeah, it would be nice to see more combinations instead of alting for the sake of alting.
just took me off the map.
You know, look, no matter what you did as far as an alt there, the Zenyatta was going to alt himself, right? You know, he was going to counter your Black Hole with Zenyatta alt. But think of it this way, right? If you Black Hole 6 people, right? And you're the only one to use an ability, right? If Black Hole is the only thing you use, and the enemy team use Zenyatta ult, and you guys just back off for just that half, 3 seconds, right? Then you re-engage with your own Zenyatta ult, then you win that fight, right? You have 3 extra seconds of Zenyatta ult, and they don't. Instead, you run to that choke point with Zenyatta ult yourself, already using Zenyatta ult. And you Black Hole. If you have to ask yourself, did you need to Zenyatta ult to engage there, right? Using the Black Hole to not bait out, but to counter the Zenyatta ult, like that happens and that's okay, but you have to realize that that's a possibility. You saw a lot of this in the Genji Zenyatta meta, where there were so many top level games where you would see a Zarya ult, and then a Zenyatta ult defensively to counter it, and then halfway through the Black Hole and Zenyatta ult, you see the offensive Genji ult, and he would just wipe everyone at the end of it, right? And it's the same situation, right? So instead of the Genji cleaning everyone up, you would have your own Transcendence instead of wasting it too early, right? It's another example of using too many alts at once instead of staggering them. Like so many times in the Genji last meta, not the triple tank meta, you would see, just fights won based on the fact if you had Zenyatta ult to counter the Genji player, right? Like that's how a lot of the fights went down. did we have Transcendence up to win the fight? And if we didn't, the Genji ulted and wiped us. That's how it went down. So some teams would use their Zarya black holes to bait out Transcendence. And then you'd have people like Shadowburn who would just clean up the entire fight after. But you know, that's at a top tier level. But like things to focus on is just combo the black hole with one of your DPS ults, whether that's Tracer or Reaper or Pharah. Like just small tactics like that can win you these lower level games.
Maybe we should have
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
it's like just mainly just a whole bunch of extra health that everyone has to take out.
My ultimate is
I don't know, I
charging.
played Reinhardt. It's worked pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Reinhardt's the answer here. There are a couple teams who do it, but you know, like Clutch was a team who ran Reinhardt a decent amount successfully. Good pin. Not enough focus calls going on. Um,
Yo, I need these fucking supports killed. They're murdering me.
what do I want to say here? I don't think you need the Reinhardt to win that fight. Especially because they have a Genji player, right? And what are you two playing against the Genji? You're not too useful. If anything, if you didn't want to run the Zarya, I prefer Winston, especially with a Genji on the map. Think one thing you don't do well is kind of playing around your DPS. You know, who's behind your shield. You know, when you're fighting that McCree, who's you know, who are you shielding? Right, there's no one behind your shield. When you have a Roadhog player, you and your Roadhog player should be playing together more. Spam, you know, having your shield up, spamming the other Reinhardt shield with Roadhog, and then trying to get hooks when you win the spam battle.
We got McCree from the left.
I'm trying to take him out, but
Don't charge. Don't do it.
they're going back.
It's not worth it.
Fall back, fall back.
I have ult.
I have ult.
Nice, nice.
Yo, I have ult. I'm gonna charge him and hit him from the ult from behind. Give me some love. I need heals.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Oh, goddamn.
I don't think I understand the thought process, right? I'm gonna charge in, I'm gonna pin him, and then I'm ult the rest of the team. But I don't think it was needed, right? You can win battles. How do I want to phrase this? Sometimes you don't need to force the issue, right? Like, what if you're winning the spam battle there, right? His shield's lower than your shield, and you're going to have shield up for an extra 2 to 3 seconds. Don't feel like you always have to charge in, right? Especially when there's not going to be any follow-up. Right? If you charge in, who's going to help you? Are you going to get a Zarya bubble to keep you alive? How are you going to get heals? Do you have a disc? Do you have a orb of harmony on you? You know, these are things you have to think about.
Damn it. Now I'm dead. Fuck. This is what I want to be into.
The other thing is, like, you know, this is a cough map. You're trying to capture the point. You have control of the point. You know, they really have to, you know, force the issue onto you. Take fights where you're at the advantage. You know, charging. As soon as you charge there, right, you're pretty much saying, I'm going to try to get a pin, but I'm probably going to die in the process. Because now my whole team's behind me and I'm in the enemy back line, which is sometimes it's perfectly fine. You know, at the top tier, aggressive teams will play around that. They'll have, you know, a Reinhardt charge in, and then the rest of the team will follow up real quickly. But, you know, when people are uncoordinated, it ends up just, you know, leaving you down a man.
Right
No,
down,
got
right
the
down.
right. It's all good. It's all good.
Heal Jay. Get Jay some heals.
Yeah, I am. But like, I don't know.
So you guys transcendenced.
Still up. It's still up. There it is.
Alright, cool.
So, all right, you're contesting the point from over bridge is easier on this map. And what I mean by that is when you go this back alley route, as red team, you're walking into multiple giant choke points, right? As a defending team, you have the advantage. What I would get in the basically, whenever a team goes this way, you should feel confident in that. Most teams will hold the bridge and try to force the enemy to go that way. And when they do, you see them focusing on winning the spam battle through a choke point, or, you know, just winning based off the fact that the other team has to run through a giant hallway choke point. Yeah, usually you'll see a whole team hold on bridge and then rotate to point when they know the enemy team is going that way.
Dude just got knocked off.
You'll see a lot of teams place a Reaper right here in this corner or the other corner and basically spam the enemy as much as they can, let them engage onto the point, and have the Reaper kind of pick people off as they engage, or re-engage themselves. Like Cloud9 does that all the time.
Just got another pick. Let's go. Let's fight him.
Yeah, see, this is way too aggressive.
Kill him. He's got nice. Turn around. Fight him. Beautiful.
Alright, let's do this again. Alright.
Yep,
Yeah, it's like sometimes you need to know when you're winning the spam battle, and know when that if I just hold my shield up and we win the spam battle, we're going to continue to win this fight, and I don't have to, you know, be aggressive. You know, play like a tank. Right? You know your role, as far as like sometimes I don't have to do damage, I just have to negate damage. You know, there's this whole concept of overall damage in terms of how much damage my team is outputting to how much damage we can block, right? And sometimes if you just have a net gain of damage output, you know, where I have, you know, Reinhardt shield, and then we have Winston bubble, and that's blocking, you know, like 3k worth of damage, and the other team can't out DPS that, you're just going to win if you play around your shields. You guys aren't playing around your shields as much as you could be. Especially now that you're running the McCree.
More at stake even with Roadhog still. DPS heavy.
They have a tracer now.
We'll fight.
Just had a
Get on
tracer.
point.
No, we don't need to fight on the point. It's not even unlocked for 15 seconds.
yeah, that's true. You don't really need to go.
Don't fight on the point. You're just pigeonholing, letting him spam.
Got Zarya.
Nice pick. Tracer's
We got
over here.
Ryan.
I need help.
Let's send Yana.
You walking up to that tracer is you're not gonna kill her, right? So you have to think about why am I doing that in the first place? Why am I not playing near my team next to my DPS player? Yeah, where is my creep player? Where is my Roadhog player? I should be playing around one of them.
I can't believe I took her out. Yo, when Zen takes out Tracer.
Oh man,
Alright,
it's such a
focus,
beautiful
let's go.
experience when Zen does that.
Yeah, because you know that Tracer's supposed to get her ass. I nailed Tracer with Discord. And yeah, they have 2 flankers.
Not really. It's pretty common for teams.
I have ultimate.
One of the things when you think about Koth maps is, playing the choke points, right? Like last map, the choke points are what? The bridge and then the hallway. Focusing on your whole team spamming that one area. In this map, it can be this door, right? But you also have to worry about where else they can come from. They can come from the right side. They can come from up top. Sometimes you'll see a lot of teams, they'll play for this, but they'll play a little further back. They'll play kind of by the lion, if you would, or even, kind of inside the courtyard door, if you would. But, just kind of a couple feet back, just to make sure they don't get flanked like, I don't know, a speed boost from that up top area and just drop on you. Like, those are the things you just need to worry about when you're playing that far up.
I have ultimate. Break this shield and I can ult them.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. He has Discord on. He has Discord.
I need level.
So, I understand, but the correct play would just be to countercharge him instead, right? You don't want him to pin anyone. You don't want him to get any cleave damage off. There's no one behind him to ult, so you're solo ulting a Reinhardt. The correct play is just to countercharge him, so you trade, you both fall down, right? And your team will pick up the kill for you, right? Get in the habit of thinking that you're not the DPS player. And sometimes, holding your shield is more important than swinging. And being confident that your team will do the damage for you in situations like this, instead of feeling the need to ult and clean the kill up yourself, right? I actually had the opposite problem when I first started playing Reinhardt, where I would hold my shield too much and not swing enough when I needed to.
I got stuck with the grenade.
I tried to
It's all good.
my ult.
Yours doesn't counter her.
No, we don't need it. It's just Lucio.
Zarya needs to die. Focus, please, please.
Get on point, guys. Get on point.
Sick run. I got you.
Good, we have 4 people on this point. Where are you guys?
I got it. Down.
We're out
That was
front,
like-
killing them. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was trying to solo him.
Tracer on point. You're stuck again.
I got stuck by Tracer.
You always want to, whenever you see the tracer bomb being thrown at you, you always want to throw your shield up, because sometimes that tracer bomb will get stuck to the outside of your shield, and you can kind of you can prevent dying because of that. Or, right, let's say you're all grouped up, and you get stuck on your shield. You can kind of do 360s sometimes, and like, let's say it's stuck on the left side of your shield. If you see your support player moving to the right of you, right, you can turn to the left, right? Like, you can position the pulse bomb sometimes to save your teammates.
Alright, regroup.
Yeah.
That was a good hold. For 70%.
Fall back.
Yeah, like I said, in general, hit tab more,
I'm getting.
hit Z more as a team, figure out what ults you have up.
Tracer's dead.
Always think about what ults the other team has up.
Let's go in.
Like, you have to ask yourself right now, does this enemy Reinhardt have Earthshatter up? Why don't I know that? You should always try to keep track of the enemy Reinhardt's alt as a Reinhardt player. Right?
Genji's coming up.
Because it changes the way you play Reinhardt. You know, whether you're dropping your shield at certain times, whether you're trying to fake him out, you know, when you charge, right? If you know he doesn't have Earthshatter, right, maybe you're more aggressive with your charges.
Zarya's almost dead. Let's go.
Reinhardt, Discord on Reinhardt, get him.
I mean, right there you have to ask yourself, was that charge worth you dying? Was that trade worth it? You know, now your team has to work through whatever is behind that their Reinhardt shield. Or he charges in and dies.
Yep, Genji on me. Fuck.
That's when we need the Zenyatta ult for. You need to pocket that for the fucking Genji ult.
You're right.
Okay, Jay.
Like, that's how you beat Genji. You fucking pocket the fucking Transcendence for that.
No, what you're saying there is true, right? The way you beat Genji alts is with support alts, right? But I talked about that a little earlier. You should, so like, these two players, your Roadhog and your McCree, should be playing behind your shield and feel comfortable playing behind your shield, you know, doing damage, going for hooks, you know, spamming the other Reinhardt shield, right? When's the last time in this in this Koth series, right, where you've won a spam battle and then got a hook off because of it?
Even Lucio, you do it mid-fight.
That looks kind of desperate. Yeah, that's not a charge you really want to do. You're lucky he didn't Earthshatter more people.
Now get off the point. Let's fight. You need to be on the point. Hold it.
Yeah, same here.
Genji's almost dead.
I got it.
Good. Transcendence was used to protect from their Genji ult. That's good.
Get on the point.
On
Yeah.
the point, on the point.
Genji's trying to get
Let's see.
I have, oh.
Genji's last guy on point.
We got it. We got it. GG.
Kind of just cleaning up stragglers. Not much to say.
Alright, you speed boosted.
Yeah, alright, okay. So let's wrap this up, right? What do we want to improve on? Can we, Okay. How's this showing up, by the way? Hit tab, man. Everyone hit tab. Everyone should always hit tab. Check what alts you and your teammates have. When you know what alts everyone on the team has, it leads to less stacking of abilities. You know, you don't run into situations where you Earthshattered and Zarya ulted at the same time. You don't run into situations where you Zenyatta ulted and Lucio ulted at the same time. Because you know what abilities everyone has. Hit Z so other people can figure out what you have, how close you are, right? If you're at 90% Earthshatter, right? And you can show your whole team, you know, how close you are, right? It's as good as, you know, helping your teammates hit tab, right? Sometimes you run into a situation where it's like, okay, We're engaging onto last point. How close are we to our next support ult? You know, sometimes you need to wait for your support ult because you can't win a fight without it. You know, we need to wait 5 more seconds before I have Zenyatta ult. Wait that 5 seconds, right? Hit Z. Combo black holes, you know, this is a basic thing for lower level play, right? If you go into your fights with the mindset of we are never going to black hole without a follow-up DPS ult, your fights will come out much better. And by DPS ult, I mean Reaper ult, Tracer Pulse Bomb, Barrage, and I'll even say Ana boosting Reinhardt, right? Use a combo of those 2 ults, right? A black hole and then a follow-up ult, and your fights will go a lot better. What else? What else do I want to say? Alright, hold your ult. This is specifically for you, not your team, right? But you get ult and you feel the need to use it immediately instead of waiting for opportunities to present themselves, right? You know, you ult for the sake of ulting a lot of the times, and they end up not being as good. In some cases, right, it led to ult stacking. In some cases, it led to, you know, whiffed ults, right? You only get 2 people. You don't get any of the supports, non-priority targets. If you play a little more passive with your Earth Shatters, better opportunities will present themselves to you. Yeah. Those are the things I'd focus on. Hit tab. You know, everyone can improve mechanically, right? But those tips are kind of hard to get rather than you know, saying improve on your aim isn't constructive, right? What we can say is how do we use our abilities better? And that's by hitting tab, hitting Z, realizing what ults we have up, not stacking ults, going into fights with just a little bit of a plan of what ults we want to use, right? Whether it's something as simple as comboing your black holes, right? Every fight I saw your team surprised whenever you were shattered, whenever your Zarya black holed. You guys are unaware of what ult you want to use in the next fight. You know, no one knows that you're going to Zarya black hole. No one knows that you're going to Earth Shatter until it happens, right? And players are good enough to play around that. But if you already have a sense of what is about to happen, it's just one less thing you have to worry about. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all I want to say right now. You know, it wasn't bad. But you can definitely see alt usage being an issue from just these couple matches. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna stop streaming. If you guys have any questions though. Alright. Join my Discord. It's right there. I talk in it. You can message me in it. I'll usually post when I go live. No problem, you. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Alright. GG's. I'm done.